we live.
Hi guys, it is Amala Epinobi with PragerU, and I'm coming at you at 2:30 PST to do our daily live stream. We've got some interesting stories lined up for you today, and some interesting news, I guess. Will's not going to be joining us. I don't know where Will is. He actually hasn't even called in today, so I've texted, I've called, and he just hasn't shown up, so I don't know. What?
Mate, I've come from the future.
You've come from the future?
The world is over as we know it. China has taken over everything.
How did this happen? How did you go to the future?
Well, let me tell you a little tale. We were so focused on critical race theory and gender stuff that we couldn't focus on the military, and they took us over.
How did you learn this, Will?
I lived it. The only thing left is Panda Express.
So this is where you've been all morning in China?
In time travel, mate. 2069. I was there. I saw the Great Eye. I saw the war. It was horrible.
Prison Mike, what was the worst part of prison?
The Dementors, man. The Dementors, mate.
Oh,
man,
God.
This went so far off the rails. It was not even close to what we were going
China took
for.
over. I'm coming back from the future, okay? China took over because we were too focused on critical race theory
Right.
and transgender stuff, and our military was too weak to combat against it.
Right. I'm crying because I've been laughing so hard, but very real threat, guys. I just want to hone that in on you guys.
It's a very real threat.
Well, we're focusing on critical race theory and gender studies and all this crazy stuff. China's out there focusing on their military and making men more masculine, having women and men build strong families, and making sure that everybody supports their nation. But I guess that's not what we're really talking about today. The reason we've done this whole little skit for you today is because a recent video has come out by Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, this famous Hollywood couple. I'm sure you're all familiar with the both of them. They've come out with this futuristic, I guess, trailer for what they view the world as, and I'm going to show you this. It's the most leftist, cringy thing I've seen in a long time, and we bring you daily cringe content from the left, so here we go.
Let's hope this works.
We've got to tell him.
Fundamental purpose of our democracy is the freedom of our life.
Your pants and all
You are our only hope. The America you know doesn't exist in our future. Democracy is dead. We have no voice. The regime watches our every move.
It started when voter suppression ran wild all over America. The voting rights bills died in the Senate. Polling places closed. We lost our right to vote.
This future doesn't have to be. You have the power to change it. Save democracy while you can.
Call your senator now.
Tell Daisy we love her.
Call your senator. Tell them democracy dies with you.
Oh my gosh, it's just unbelievable. I just can't. Every time they come out with something new, it's like they top themselves.
You would think that something like this should be a joke. It should be a joke. The way that it's filmed, the fake makeup making them look like homeless people in the future. You would think
He
that
looks
something
like a
this.
dwarf from The Hobbit.
I know, but he's an elf.
I know.
He used to be, at least. But something like this should be a joke. But it's not. They do this, get all the makeup, hire all these people to make this video, and it's full on serious.
Right. What audience is this for, do you think? I have no clue what audience
It's
they are
for
pandering
themselves
to.
is who it's for. It's for them and their Hollywood woke friends
I guess.
to make themselves feel like they're doing something activist and good for the world.
Do you
Right.
even think these celebrities vote? I doubt these celebrities even vote. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, you could
why
be
would
right.
why would you vote if you had
Their
millions
assistant
of
fills
dollars?
it out for them and puts it in the ballot box.
That's
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
exactly what happens.
Why would you vote if you have millions of dollars and live in a mansion? Like, you don't feel like you're actually contributing anything.
They're doing it to
Why would
virtue signal. So the whole narrative behind this video is apparently conservatives are going to take over, you know, our Congress and our representation, and they're going to pass all these voter suppression laws, which has not happened, is not happening. There are no voter suppression laws being passed here in America. America. But that is the narrative that they're going with, and they want you to call your senator right now and fight against these voter suppression laws.
How about the whole idea of voter suppression being about voter suppression for black people, and they're both white and made this video and were like,
Right.
we can't vote anymore.
I know.
Right.
It's like, what their messaging is like self-contradictory and confusing.
What about voter ID messages? They should do something about voter ID that says something about how only people who are legal citizens in this country. Like, you could have a video like this that's like,
It's the future. Only illegal immigrants have been voting in our elections, and it's
Right.
been taken over.
Right.
that's like way more accurate of what is going to happen than actually what
way
this
more
is about.
valid, way more valid. Yeah, our little skit in the beginning of this video of China taking us over because we're too focused on critical race theory and gender to even defend our country is way more accurate than anything that Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom are talking about.
What's Katy Perry? Have you seen that video she did? She asked if science is related to math. What? Have you seen that video with Neil deGrasse Tyson? No? She's in an interview
Oh, where
with...
she's interviewing him.
Yeah, and she's like, is
Yes.
science related to math? I'm like, oh, okay, this person knows a lot about political theory and voter rights, so of course she should be making this video.
Right, and here's the issue with American entertainment and America celebrity and American Hollywood is that once you gain a platform and you have a significant following, they feel the need to hop into politics and they feel the need to give their opinion when it comes to legislation and things that they have no idea what they're talking about. And there are millions of susceptible young people who are going to sit here and watch this and go, oh my goodness, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, the actor from Pirates of the Caribbean and the girl who made California Girls is telling me that our democracy is going to end.
California girls, they're unbelievable. Daisy Dukes bikinis.
Daisy Dukes bikinis on top. Woo. Yeah, I should be taking voter advice from Katy Perry and just building my legislative opinion off of what she tells me.
She voted for a girl and she liked it.
Oh my gosh. It's just I was almost at a lack of just any words
I am
watching
too.
this.
I just don't like... The worst thing is just celebrities pandering to people and being so hypocritical, acting like they actually care about these kinds of issues.
Right.
There's like one thing to be an activist and be a grassroots type of person going out and really putting out yourself to make it so that you're going out and canvassing for candidates or about different bills and legislation, or you're out speaking at rallies, whatever it might be, or at least showing up to protests, versus being a celebrity with millions of dollars who doesn't really actually care about these issues, but you're only doing it so that other people around you will think that you really care about this stuff.
Right.
It's horrible activism. We see this all over with people being hypocritical, and it's what's turning this country bad because young people watch celebrities do woke stuff that's shallow and doesn't mean anything, and then they follow in their footsteps not knowing the implications of what they're saying.
It is a huge virtue signal, and it is based off of nothing. There's no logic, there's no reason, there's no factual evidence, and there's no voter suppression currently taking place in America. If anything, we're suppressing the vote of actual American citizens because we're on the route right now to have illegal immigrants voting in our country and voting in our elections. That is the true voter suppression that is happening right now. If you want to have a conversation about voter ID, which the left loves to talk about, saying that Black Americans can't get voter ID here in this country and that we shouldn't have voter ID to vote, it's just
Black people can get voter ID in this country, and they
Yes.
do get voter ID in this country,
Yes.
and they vote in elections. Anyone who says otherwise is a racist.
Right. If you think that Black Americans are too stupid or they don't have the resources or they can't facilitate themselves showing up somewhere and getting a voter ID, you are a racist.
Yes, you are.
Plain and simple. That's all there is to it. So there's no voter suppression happening right now in America. And in fact, a lot of the leftists and a lot of the leftist politicians who have been backing this whole voter ID as voter suppression are backing up on that. Look at Georgia right now. They're now going in with the whole voter ID legislation, and they're run by leftists. So, it doesn't hold up. Doesn't hold up.
What we need to do is get voting on the blockchain. Have an decentralized system of voting that makes it so that voting is no longer controlled by some person in some county room moving a trash can full of boxes at 12 a.m. in the night or 12 p.m.? 12 a.m. in the night, counting these ballots after things are already done. But you get something decentralized on the blockchain network. I mean, that is the future. That is the future for social media, for all sorts of stuff, is getting these things like that. But I think there's too much money in it. I think there's too much control in it for anything like that to happen soon. But I think anyone can really look to these different systems and say, this is the future where we should be heading. Because if you look in America, I mean, there's plenty of cases of voter fraud. There are plenty of cases of voter fraud. It's been documented. There's a great resource by the Heritage Foundation that points this out in 2018 and 2020, where it was like hundreds of cases of voter fraud. And this isn't just Democrats, okay? There's Republicans at the same time. Republicans and Democrats are both committing voter fraud. And so, yeah, there does need to be something something does need to be done about voter fraud in this country. We saw that in the last election, a lot of other different elections as well. Again, go to the Heritage Foundation and look at that. But saying that people aren't having the ability to be able to go and vote, that is a straight up lie. That is a lie. And so this video made by Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry is just a straight up lie, trying to manipulate people into thinking that this is the real issue. The real issue isn't voter suppression. The real issue is voter fraud.
But white supremacy. Will,
that's true.
What can you say to that, sir?
The future is full of white supremacy.
You know what I think is an interesting thing that we should talk about, considering, you know, I'm a black female here with 2 white males, and I think we should talk about white rage.
I am enraged.
You're
I am
enraged.
white.
Right. White rage. It's also a remnant of, you know, slave times. It's a remnant of white supremacy. Taylor, do you feel a lot of white rage?
White rage, that was Will's nickname in college, wasn't it?
Yeah, after I shotgunned 3 beers in a row, they called me the White Rage.
The reason I bring it up is because a video has come out today that is going completely viral all over Twitter. It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, of General Mark Milley speaking in front of our representatives and talking about the fact that the U.S. military is now going to be focusing on, you know, this commonplace term, critical race theory. But he in his little speech to our representatives, talks about white rage in particular. I'm going to show you this video, and you can see how you feel about the U.S. military after watching this.
I do think it's important, actually, for those of us in uniform to be open-minded and be widely read. And the United States Military Academy is a university, and it is important that we train and we understand. And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white, and I want to understand it. So what is it that caused thousands of people to assault this building and try to overturn the Constitution of the United States of America? What caused that?
Give me a break.
I want to find that out. I want to maintain an open mind here, and I do want to analyze it. It's important that we understand that, because our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians, they come from the American people. So it is important that the leaders, now and in the future, do understand it. I've read Mao Zedong. I've read Karl Marx. I've read Lenin. That doesn't make me a communist. So what is wrong with understanding, having some situational understanding about the country for which we are here to defend? And I personally find it offensive that we are accusing the United States military, our general officers, our commissioned, non-commissioned officers, of being, quote, woke or something else because we're studying some theories that are out there. That was started at Harvard Law School years ago, and it proposed that there were laws in the United States, antebellum laws prior to the Civil War, that led to a power differential with African Americans that were 3/4 of a human being when this country was formed. And then we had a Civil War and Emancipation Proclamation to change it. And we brought it up to the Civil Rights Act in 1964. It took another 100 years to change that. So look, I do want to know. And I respect your service, and you and I are both Green Berets. But I want to know. And it matters to our military and the discipline and cohesion of this military.
I'm going to be honest, dude. Sounding a little ragey.
He sounds like he's got a little bit of white rage.
I don't understand the part that he's talking about where he said, I read Mao, I read Lenin, I read Karl Marx. That doesn't mean that I'm a communist. Yeah, I've read a lot of that stuff too. I've read a lot of the leftist doctrine. I know a lot about the leftist doctrine. I watch leftist shows. That doesn't mean I'm a leftist. But if I went out and I started an organization and I started implementing leftist things into the organization, then yeah, I probably am a leftist. Right. You can know about this information. There's nothing wrong with knowing what the left is teaching. That's why I do. Every single morning I wake up, I have my eggs, my bacon, and then I watch leftist stuff. I watch leftist stuff on YouTube and read about it, because that is how I get my information about what these people are talking about. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you go out and implement it, then there's a problem. Then there's a problem. It's the same thing we talked about I think it was with Jill, talking about the Black Lives Matter stuff in the classroom and things, and people saying, oh, it's not political, it's not political, it's just Black Lives Matter. It's like, no, these things are political. So if you are teaching people about it and then they're going to implement it, then you are putting political bias within your military. And it's all these conservatives are coming out in the military and saying, we don't feel safe to say that we are conservatives in the military. We feel safe to say we're trans or gay or whatever else that is in the military. They welcome us with open arms. But if we say we're a Christian or conservative, they are no longer accepted. And that's a horrible thing, because the biggest amount of people that the military pulls in are religious people. Like, that's a huge base of people that the military pulls in. So when you get rid of that block of people, what are we going to turn into? 7 out of 10 young people in America already don't qualify for military service.
Right. So like you said, it's a big difference to study and to teach. The military is teaching this sort of ideology, teaching critical race theory, teaching this stuff about white rage and white supremacy. They are two different things. And it's so just dumbfounding to me that the U.S. military is placating to the extreme left, which fundamentally hates America. Why would the U.S. military, an institution built upon defending this country, be placating to people who hate this country, who fundamentally think that this country is flawed in both its values, its morals, and its traditions? It makes no sense. And when he has things to cite, he cites what? The Civil War, and the antebellum period in America. He cites the civil rights movement. He doesn't even cite Jim Crow. Those are the three things that you could probably cite when it comes to systemic racism here in America. And guess what? Those three things are gone, done, and past. There is nothing currently happening in America to the tune of systemic racism. So what is this man talking about?
Well, there's a lot of stuff wrong with the military. I mean, this guy and a lot of other people who work in the military right now talking about this CRT stuff are the same types of guys in the military who, when they're done in the military, become lobbying bosses for companies like Raytheon, making millions of dollars, lobbying the federal government for special privileges for the military, keeping us funded for, all these different things. You can call me a military industrial complex type of person for saying that, but there's a lot of truth to that. But these are the same type of people. These people want to sell out our country. They don't actually love our country. If they loved our country, they wouldn't be saying these types of things. America is the most moral army. The American military is the most moral army that has ever existed. Yes, they've done some pretty stupid stuff, the military, okay? We can all agree with that. But to say that they are not the most moral army and that we need to be strong to keep America as the best country in the world is a wrong thing to say. We need to be strong to keep ourselves as the best country in the world, and we can't do that with CRT and all this gender theory inside of our military.
Right, it's like, I can only imagine what an American military meeting looks like, and we were talking about it before we went live on the stream today. Just imagine them showing up, and you have a general who's like, I think we need to discuss China as a threat, because China right now is focusing on these huge masculinity campaigns. They are making their men stronger, and they are urging their men to join the military. And then our generals are like, oh, no, I think what we really need to focus on is a campaign to build pregnancy flight suits for the women who are in our military. And I think we need to work on teaching men that there is a such thing as toxic masculinity, and they can be too masculine, and we should be talking about what color our soldiers are and what gender they identify as and what sexual orientation they identify as, rather than talking about the actual threats that our country is facing.
Pregnancy jumpsuits.
That's a real thing. If you
I saw it. Yeah. Tucker Carlson talked about it.
Right. If you guys are watching this and you haven't heard about that, look up pregnancy flight suits in the American military, because that's an actual thing that is being created.
Do you have another parachute for the baby?
I guess so. You couldn't possibly separate mommy and daughter, and they have to serve, so you just put the baby right there in the flight suit.
That's wild. You shouldn't be flying on an airplane in dramatic military missions if you're pregnant, first of all. That's pretty dumb.
That's a patriarchal thing to say now, isn't it?
That's a toxic masculinity thing to say.
We have
I
to
am
work
fine
on that.
with being toxic.
Yeah, I don't conform or subscribe to the whole toxic masculinity narrative. I'll go ahead and put that out there right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am not toxically masculine. I am masculinely toxic.
Right.
But according to this general, our military soldiers are probably toxically masculine unless they're embracing being indoctrinated with this woke theory.
Right.
Like, do we feel safer with knowing that our generals are like this? And this isn't the first piece of evidence that we've seen that wokeness is invading the military. We saw the FBI recruitment ads, we see the military recruitment ads, CIA, all that stuff. Everything is about how to be. They're just pandering to this woke ideology. But look at the net effect of it. What is the net effect? We're a weaker country. We're in a weaker position. We're ignoring when our enemies are being aggressive all over the world and taking territory and colonizing Africa and doing all sorts of things, and we're just sitting here focused on ourselves about these dumb ideas and trying to pander to overall this race and gender stuff, and it's all it's doing is weakening us.
Yep. You have to wonder if this guy doesn't understand his own message that he's saying, though, because he talks about, and he says he goes through all these things in history. He talks about antebellum, as he says it. He talks about the Civil War. He talks about Civil Rights Act. He talks about 3/5 of a person when this country was founded.
He said 3/4.
Yeah, he said 3/4. So obviously, how much
not
do you
well
really
read.
know?
Yep.
But he's talking about that, and it's like, are you insidiously saying that this is what we're talking about? Because no one is talking about not teaching slavery to people. No one is talking about not teaching the 3/5 compromise or the Civil Rights Act. No one is talking about getting that out of schools. You will not find one conservative who's a real conservative or someone with any sort of clout come on and say, let's not teach slavery in schools. You will find no one who says that. Everyone should learn about it. All these different things. But to say that that's the same as CRT, which is not the same as CRT is teaching little white kids that they are bad and that little black kids that they'll never advance. That is the essence of what CRT is teaching people that you are guilty for the color of your skin or that you have certain implications in your life because
and that
of the color
America
of your
is
skin.
evil and racist, and the cause of all that is what's holding
Right.
it back. America's system, as it currently exists, needs to be dismantled, is what it teaches.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a total
Which is
difference
not what you want in your
between
military,
that.
whose job is to defend America. It's actually
Exactly.
attacking America.
So there's a total
and
difference. So the-
ignoring our actual threats.
So either the guy doesn't know what CRT actually is when he's talking about instituting into the military, or he does know what it is and he's up on this platform talking and he's lying to people, trying to conflate it with these other past events, these other past injustices, because that's a gaslighting trick by the left to try and get us to study CRT in this stupid hat I'm trying to
can
wear it,
just
but it
take
keeps falling off.
What tells me that he knows exactly what CRT is his reference to white rage, and in giving an attribute of hatred and racial tension to specifically white people. It tells me he knows everything that he needs to know about CRT, yet he is using the same trick that the left always does, is they hide their evil ideology under the umbrella of, oh, we're just anti-slavery, we're just pro-civil rights. So if you speak out against it, you look like you are pro-slavery or you're pro-civil rights. And that's an ingenious trick that they use, and it should not work that way, and yet it does.
I don't like it. This gives me white rage. It gives me just normal rage, but I guess I'm white, so
Yeah.
it gives me white rage.
Will's just trying to have White Boy Summer, and instead he's got White Boy Summer of Rage.
Don't cancel White Boy Summer. You can't cancel it.
And you know what? My grandmother makes an interesting statement when we talk about these things on the stream. She watches every day, so shout out to my grandma.
My grandma.
She texted me the other day when we were talking about Juneteenth, and she said, you know what the left never talks about is that the civil rights movement, the Civil War, so many people fought and died for slavery to be ended in America. So many white people fought and died during the civil rights movement to uplift black people and get them on the same playing field as white people were. And nobody ever talks about that conversation. The left sells you these things as if it's black people against white. What about all the white people? What about all the American citizens who stood with African Americans and black people in this country and fought for them to get their rights? And that's where we're at right now. I have the same rights that Will does. I have the same rights that Taylor does. And there's no difference there. Yet we still are pitting white people against black people. Makes no sense. So think about that. How many white people died for you to have civil rights? How many white people died for you to have Juneteenth? How many white people died for the emancipation of slavery in our Civil War?
How many people died? Wait, what did you say?
How many white people died for
How
these
many
things?
white people died to have you sit here and complain?
Right. Exactly right. And like I said, we are on the same playing field. There's not a right that Will and Taylor have that I do not. So I don't want to hear about white rage and fundamental white supremacy in this country or remnants of the Civil War and Jim Crow, because it's not true.
Right. And it's such a reductive, juvenile way of thinking to make it all about one race good, one race bad. It's so counterproductive. And then, on the flip side of your point, it's like, look at the people who originally sold slaves in Africa were often other tribes of black people who sold their fellow black people into slavery. So the whole idea that one race good, other race bad is just, it's empty and it's shallow, stupid, reductive thinking. And why can't we just look at facts, they accuse us of wanting to ignore history or, whenever we call out critical race theory, but we're pro-history. We want to look at history in the face, honestly, look at the facts. You're not doing that. We are. And that's what's so wrong about this the whole worldview that they have.
So true. And now it's entering our colloquial sort of thinking when we look at the world. I want to show you this TikTok that Will sent to our group chat that is just probably going to blow your mind. This is a mother talking about her daughter and her teenager's response to her young daughter. Here we go.
So this morning, the baby woke up and had some sort of violence in her heart.
Wait, sorry. If this is her child and she calls it the baby, I don't know. I feel like you should call it my baby.
That's very strange. I didn't
Isn't
even
that
notice that
strange?
when I first watched it.
The way she says things in this, just listen. She treats her kids like they're like aliens or something.
Right.
Like they're gelatinous things that she has living in around her house that she water.
This
She
morning.
produced them for the state.
Exactly. Right? It's like Handmaid's Tale.
They're gonna raise the baby for me.
Right. This morning, the baby woke up and had some sort of violence in her heart. That's so weird. Now that you.
It's
This morning, the baby, I gave it water. Increased interest in CRT. Decreased interest in God.
Baby was about 75% violent this morning.
Turn down the dial.
Okay, let's keep going. Oh, goodness.
I don't know what it was, but she has been losing her mind all day. And it's interesting because I'm watching her lose her mind, and then I'm watching the preteen respond to that by trying to
The
make her
preteen.
happy. And I have had to actively tell him, stop trying to make her feel better, stop responding to her tears. It's so interesting to see the conditioning of people responding to white girl tears happening so early. She's 5, and she's got an 11-year-old coming after her trying to make her feel better when she cries. We have to unlearn this whole business that white women crying is going to get them what they want in life, because that ain't it.
This is a child abuser.
This is child abuse. I was just going to say that is child abuse. If you are sitting there and she goes, I'm just watching my 5-year-old daughter sit there and cry, and I watch the preteen go and respond to her, and I have to pull him back and tell him not to respond to my child crying. Are you kidding me?
The Preteen sounds like the title of a bad horror movie. The Preteen. This time it's personal. But that is so weird. That is psychotic behavior. Kids cry, especially little 5-year-old girls. Of course they cry.
Right.
And then your older sibling comes to make you feel better? What is wrong with that? That is a perfectly normal thing. Families should look after each other. And you're saying the only reason they want to take care of this little girl is because he's white? Or it's some sort of white weirdness thing about
When white
little
women
girls
cry.
getting what they want? What the hell is wrong with you psycho?
And what super enrages me is that, especially 50% white rage, is that it's a little child, a little 5-year-old, and a lot of children communicate discomfort, pain, things like that through crying. They don't have the full mental faculties to communicate exactly what is wrong with them. So you're just gonna sit there and watch your child cry because she's a white girl?
Should have studied more CRT. Maybe you wouldn't be crying then.
The acronym that I was thinking of is DCF, because somebody needs to call them on her.
What's DCF?
Yeah, we're both just sitting here thinking. Yeah, Amala, we should do that.
That's what you call when you want to report somebody abusing their child, for everybody who's watching this.
Oh, okay.
What does that stand for? Like Department of Child?
I don't know what it stands for. It's actually a
Helping?
good question, but
Helping.
child DCF.
Okay.
Yeah, or there's two. There's DCF and there's CPS. So there's Child Protective Services. And
Yeah, I know
there's
CPS.
Department of Children and Families.
Department of Children and Families. There we
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Tyler.
Tyler.
Do you want to wave and say hi, Tyler? There we
Thanks,
go.
Tyler.
There's
Just-
Tyler.
We're gonna do one of those 1-second cameos in every podcast.
Yeah, so you guys get a good look.
Okay. Well, that was some disheartening thing to watch. Now we're gonna move on
These
to
are
some
real
more.
people.
They're real people.
That's the hardest part to understand. These are real people going to your grocery store, going to your bowling alley.
And like as funny as it is to think about, it's like it's not funny to think about the experience of her children growing up
Right.
No,
and how
it's not
messed
funny.
up they're the victims. You know, this ideology produces victims, and it's the innocent children that don't deserve to be born into this cult.
Right. So that's why we show them on this podcast and try to put these stories out there, because like we said, all these ideologies, we talk about the ideas, we attack the ideas, but they do have real world outcomes, and they are influencing people in ways that affect other people's lives, and negatively so. So that's why we do this stream for you guys. And if you want to know when we're doing this stream every day, please text live LIVE to 41776. You will get updates every weekday when we go live. You'll get updates as to other PragerU content that we're working on and anything else important that we want you guys to know.
We want you guys to know a lot.
We do. And now we want to give back to you guys, because you guys went crazy on the survey that we put out for you all for over the past week and a half or so. And
We
you
gotta
filled
give 'em
out.
the good news. The show's staying on, baby.
The show is staying on.
The show goes on.
The show goes on.
every weekday at 2:30
They're
Yeah.
gonna need a wrecking ball to pull
Yeah.
us out of here.
We gave enough. We rubbed shoulders with Craig, and we made this show continue.
Yes.
Okay.
We got enough of your guys' feedback, and so much positive feedback that they could not can stop us. We're going to be here every single day.
Overwhelming from you guys.
Yeah, overwhelming. So we wanted to read some of your responses to our podcast, and I'll read them out to you guys. And Will and Taylor, you guys can react to what some people said. Some of these are really funny. Others are just very cute, nice, positive notes. So I love hearing them be so open about topics that are irritating and affecting our country. It gives me a place to also feel like I can be open in the comments without being attacked on social media, like the right so often gets from the left on many subjects on social media. I love staying current with the daily topics by discussing them in a fun way here with Will and Amala.
Wow. Thank you. That was really nice, anonymous person who wrote that. These are all anonymous. But that's what we do it for, so that you guys can go out into the real world with the things that we talk about or the other PragerU videos or any of our other content. Take those ideas, take those values, and spread them around so you feel confident about it. It's easy to feel, you know, shy and bashful when you're going out into the real world and you don't know what's going on and you don't have the right information. But when you watch our show and you watch other PragerU content, you're going to feel much more confident. So that's why we do what we do.
Great. Here's one for Taylor. I love it. I tune in most days to unwind from work. Taylor is my favorite. He adds so much to the show.
Oh, guys, and they didn't call me Trevor. That's so nice.
A lot of people in these comments called Taylor by just names that are not his name at all.
It's hilarious. There's so many.
It was like, I love Will, Amala, and Travis. I love Will, Amala, and Tyler.
I love Will Amala and Turpentine. He's great.
Or that
Whatever,
other blonde
Winston
guy.
and Kamala.
Tiki Torch. No, people got Amala's name wrong just about as much as they got your name wrong.
Yeah, a lot of Amanda.
Yeah.
A lot of Amaya. A lot of Alama.
Alama.
Yeah,
that's
a
my
lot
favorite
of
one.
Alamas. Yeah.
A male.
A male. Yes, that was also. I am not a male, but I am Amala. Speaking of Amala, this next one's for me. I love that Amala so graciously permits Will and Taylor to share the mic and camera with her.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it. We kiss your feet.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. They are a solid decade younger than the other podcasters I listen to. This brings quite a unique perspective, not found in other programming. Also, a male is just too cute. That's me. I'm a male.
Unless she's referring to either Taylor or me as
Wait.
one of those males.
Glad she joined PragerU. They clarified. Glad she joined PragerU. Will's okay
It was
too,
about
I
Will
guess.
then.
Will's okay too, I guess. Thank you. I'm glad I'm okay too, I guess.
Here's this next one. Tyler seems to calm the show when Will and Amala get fired up.
Someone's got to be the adult in the room.
And that's you, Tyler.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Tyler. The intern's name happens to be Tyler, so we really don't know if you're referring to me or intern Tyler now. Yeah.
Here's another one. I love Will, Amala, and the other guy. I love the other guy the best.
I love him so much, I don't even know his name. That's how much I love him.
I want to find a few more funny ones. Let's see. Will gets on my last nerve lately and can be very rude, and he thinks he knows everything in his 20s. He doesn't.
Truth-based. That is the truest one I've heard
that's a good
so
one.
far.
That's a good one.
I watch for Amala because she has great character and personality. If she left, I wouldn't watch anymore.
I think Taylor and Tyler, TTW, could do this just fine. Okay, we don't need you, Amala.
Oh, it's so good.
But here's one.
I will say just one thing. The amount of people in those things that roasted me is pretty good. I got a lot of roast for Will, which is good
great.
because I like roasting you guys too. Okay. So thank you.
Speaking of roasting Will, they are so young and lively. They bring a breath of spring to the channel. Amala is extremely bright and perky, but most importantly, she is knowledgeable. She balances Will's lack of sharpness.
Shut up.
But he is very handsome, as is Taylor.
Thank you.
Without Taylor, there would be a lack of adult grounding in the videos.
Yes,
the three
very
together
true.
make a fantastic team. So
My lack of sharpness mixed with my stunning good looks make this a show that you should be watching, okay?
I have two more, and then we're going to move on to the next segment.
Okay.
This one's not a nice comment at all. It's just rude. I think this survey is highly biased. I don't like Will. I wouldn't normally watch this, and I think the show should end.
This is just the piss on Will show. Everyone on these comments is just... it's okay. I like it.
And the last one, just to give a nice, happy ending to this. Will, Amala, and Travis make a great team. They bring a youthful
who's this
perspective.
Travis guy who keeps stealing my thunder?
Travis is great. They bring a youthful perspective grounded in conservative beliefs and religious values. PragerU is very lucky to have them.
That's so sweet.
Aww.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for all your survey entries. We really appreciate it. And again, you guys did save the show. We're going to be doing it every single weekday now from 2:30.
Yeah, except for you guys throwing shade at me.
I know.
So join Travis, Susan, and Wilhelmina over there. We've got to keep having fun every day.
So today's Thursday. And you know what
What does that
happens
mean?
on Thursday? We throw it back on Thursday.
Back to the Future.
I'll get up, throw it back right now.
So for Throwback Thursday, we're going to show an old video of Will's and an old video of mine. I'm not going to tell you what either of them are about, but there is shared subject matter. I think you guys are going to be shocked by the end of this. So let's watch Will's first. It's an old man on the street that Will did for March for Our Lives. Here we go.
Guys, this is Will Witt with Prager University. Today we're at
Look at
the
that
March
fit.
for Our Lives here in Los
Heck yeah.
Angeles.
Trying
We got
so
a ton
hard.
of people
You
out
don't
here
try anymore,
protesting
Will.
the Second Amendment, guns,
don't.
gun rights. They want gun reform now. And we're going to talk to them and see exactly what they're fighting for.
I like
and
the fit.
What they actually
Looks
know
sick.
about
You
it.
do
What
look
things
good.
exactly are you supporting?
Fix your collar.
It's supposed to be like that.
What is your sign
I hate
say?
guns.
My sign is the Second Amendment with a big red F on it.
Don't. No guns
and
and
impeach.
impeach.
What's an assault rifle?
A gun that can shoot.
What do we want? What do we want it now?
Should we ban guns?
I think we should ban guns.
Should we ban fully semi-automatic weapons?
Yes.
So we should ban fully semi-automatic weapons?
Yeah. If I should have a gun, nobody should have a gun. That's my.
How would we do that?
How do we do that? How do we do anything? You do it.
So should we do something to stop the police? What should we do?
Well, you can't stop the police. They're gonna shoot a gun anyway. You do something wrong.
So if the police were bad, shouldn't we have guns to help protect ourselves?
No, we shouldn't. Because if we have guns,
Well, then the police are just going to kill us all.
well, maybe. But I don't think they're gonna kill us all. They can't kill us all.
Well, if we don't have guns, then they might be able to.
Well, no. You're gonna put this on the air? Police gonna be looking for you.
Probably.
The racism has woke up, but we also woke up too. We gonna make a change.
You girls woke.
Oh yeah.
I would go for serious martial arts training and all kinds of training and disarm anybody with a gun.
If people will say anything to say that
Wait,
they don't
you
want a
gotta
gun.
finish
Keep going.
this guy.
Oh gosh.
Then melt them down and use them for sky rises or buildings for apartment and feed the homeless.
People with concealed
Wow.
carry.
I'm Joe Schmo and I'm running for Congress.
Feed the homeless with guns. If you melt the guns down and put them down a funnel, you can feed the homeless.
Oh my gosh.
How has Kamala Harris not thought of this yet?
I don't know. I'm honestly, where's this guy right now? Is he going to be running for president in the next election?
I don't know.
He should be.
He should be.
These are brilliant ideas.
His vice president right there next to him.
I don't know how you deal with the cognitive dissonance that you run into with these people.
You got to do one more. You got to go all the way to the end.
Okay.
Women are driving. Women are women.
Right.
Women
okay.
are driving.
Oh goodness, I'm already scared. Hold on.
But women
Kill more people.
Oh
than
my
guns
gosh,
do.
she talks for a long while.
It's not
All
that.
they want
Okay.
to do is teach. It
Guys
is
gotta
hard to
watch
make
this.
that decision.
Yeah, this is my
Who do
favorite
I
part
shoot,
ever.
my student or my student? Or
Cars kill more people than guns do.
hey, right now.
Take
women
away
are-
cars.
Yeah, hey, you can go there, but women are killing more than guns right now.
Because women are driving.
Well, not only women are driving, women are women. I love them though, but I'm not gonna deny what is going on. So yeah, that's the new assault rifle right there. A lady driving.
Based.
Pro gun control, anti woman.
Exactly. I don't even know if he was pro gun control. That guy was just hustling, selling shirts.
I guess maybe.
He was there for the fun.
So that was great. I'm going to show you guys what I was doing while Will was doing this March for Our Lives video. And it's actually crazy because Will and I both put these videos up for Throwback Thursday. We had no clue that we were both doing March for Our Lives videos. But if you guys remember, in 2018, I was not on the right. I was not a conservative. So this is my March for Our Lives video. I was in Orlando. I was working for a leftist organization at the time, and I got to do a speech at the Orlando March for Our Lives in front of thousands of people talking about the disproportionate effect that guns have on the Black community. And I'm going to be cringing all the way through this. I will try to pause and give you commentary if I can. But here we go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amala.
Oops, hold on. Let me get that working better.
What'd you do, Amala?
It's not
Even
working.
the video can't handle it.
I know the video. I guess the world does not want. I really don't really want you guys to see this, but neither does the world. Let me see. And here we go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amala. I think the issues of gun control and gun violence need to be assessed from every angle. And while I came here today to witness a movement led by young people just like me, I also came to talk about how this issue has a disproportionate effect on the people of color in our communities.
Come on, let them know.
We need to talk about how gun violence is often a daily occurrence for young black and brown people in our communities and all over the world. They look no different than me, and they live in neighborhoods no different than my own. We need to talk about how people of color are much more likely to lose their lives staring down the barrel of a gun.
I was like, it's, you know, when you're just almost there, but you're not quite there, because that statement is totally true. If you look, homicide is one of the leading causes of death for the black community, although it's not at the hands of other white people, it's at the hands of other black people. So, you know, when you're just almost there, Will, and you're just not quite there, I was just way off base.
If I was this seems like I was in the crowd filming your speech,
right?
And me and my cameraman are like, "What is this lady saying? Making fun of you."
Yet Will and I did not cross paths on this day. We were just doing our own little things.
We did not.
Little did we know, we would both be two conservatives running a podcast 3 years later, killing it.
People like the pants in this too, by the way.
People like the pants?
Yeah, there's a lot of pants.
Yeah, they look like window shades.
Oh, thank you. They were very cool pants. I do remember these pants. Anyways.
And you have full afro?
Yeah, full afro.
Do you have glasses on?
I do have glasses on as well.
Oh my goodness, Amala.
I was giving you a whole different look.
You trying to be the whole leftist, like...
You know?
No, stop.
We all have different phases in our lives, and I can't believe I'm showing this with you guys right now, but we're going to keep watching. Here we go.
We need to talk about how this has been a problem for people of color for generations and generations.
True. Almost based.
And in the case of the Parkland shooting and many before it, we need to talk about how shooters of white backgrounds are referred to as children, former students, mentally ill individuals, and lonely and confused rather than what they actually are, and that is terrorists.
Oh my goodness, Amala.
I'm over here stress eating. I don't like watching this at all.
You're calling us terrorists.
I do not like watching this, guys.
You have like is your voice like more shrill when you're on the left, because it's kind of like
I know your voice sounds worse.
Well, I was 3 years younger.
Yeah.
I was not even 18 years old. I was 17 when this video came out.
I'm glad that the left gets experts on the issues to come and speak.
Right.
17-year-olds who
17
in a year switch to hard conservative
which
side.
Which is the point that I make now, is that look at people like Greta Thunberg. You're making,
they prey on people.
They do. You're making a whole campaign based around some sort of scientific layout that you have for all of the world, and your representative was Greta Thunberg, who at the time was like 13 or 14.
Listen, they prey on young people to come and speak at these rallies, because then older liberals will donate to these causes because they're like, yes, we have young people coming out and showing their support for it. And so they get old people to donate while the young people come on and say, yes, we are so passionate about this. They prey on these young people to come to this kind of stuff. It's evil. It's insidious.
And it's also because they can't get, once a kid is of a certain age and can think for themselves, then they can't get them to repeat their BS talking
Exactly.
points.
Right.
So they have to get these super young people like Amala.
Oh, do you guys
Disco
want
pants.
to hear more?
Yeah, we got to finish it out.
Oh gosh. Okay, here we go.
The rate of death by gun homicide for black and brown people exceeds those among white people in all 50 states.
Also true.
We need to start to mend this disparity by declaring all gun violence unacceptable and recognizing the fact that this nation's criminal justice system is based on racism and systemic oppression.
False.
The same system that allowed a police officer to shoot Stephen Clark 20 times in his backyard a few days ago. The same system that sends people of color to prison for 10% longer sentences than white people for the same crime. The same system that mentally evaluated Dylan Roof, a white shooter who took 9 black lives as they prayed, not once, but twice, even though he said many times that he knew exactly what he was doing. This is unacceptable and needs to be addressed, because where is the justice in this system? And where is the justice in this nation's gun control legislation? We need to seize this moment and this power, not only for school safety, but for everyone's safety. We should feel safe wherever we are, whoever we are. And we will march on these streets today, and believe me when I say that we will march to the polls.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't even vote at that time.
We all need change, and we need it now, not later, now.
Oh, that was the end. Whew.
Someone said you sound like AOC's sister.
I do.
Seriously, that was horrible.
If I had met AOC 4 years ago, I would have been like, oh my gosh, Queen, I love you. You're so great.
Yes, Queen.
Yes.
Wait, wasn't she like bartending 4 years ago? Still?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways,
my
I'm pretty sure she
goodness.
picked up my tab after the March for Our Lives. My first time. That makes me very proud of you.
Thank
it makes
you,
me
Will.
very proud of you. First of all, to be 17 and to go up there and speak like that is quite the feat. That is quite an impressive
Thanks.
thing to be that young and to do that, even if what you said was wrong.
Even if what
That's
I
still
said was so
impressive.
stupid.
And then it's more impressive to do that and be so adamant about your beliefs and your views to now be where you are and to be doing this with me and all of the other stuff with PragerU is a very hefty accomplishment. And to
you,
all of
Will.
you watching should be quite the testament to say that no matter what your background, no matter where you come from, and you go and talk to these people on your campus or at your work and they're horrible lefties or don't understand things, their lives can be totally transformed and changed with just the right information. You know, that's what's so important about PragerU is that the PragerU was for me, that information that changed my mind on all these different things, turning me from the left to a conservative, and that it can happen to anyone. So keep pushing these ideas, keep pushing these values on people because it works. It works. It worked on Amala, it worked on me,
Right.
it's worked on thousands of other people.
And speaking of the survey results, we got a lot of survey results saying, oh, well, you guys talk so much about all bad news and you talk so badly about the left. I wish you guys were more positive, this, and that. But you have to understand, that's where we were. Will was also a leftist. He probably wasn't as far left as I was, but we were both
No, I wasn't.
leftists.
I just partied all the time. I thought I was on the left. So it was a lot different.
So I was a very adamant leftist. Will was a not so adamant leftist.
No.
But that is where we were, and we understand that, and that's why we come here and we talk about it, and we talk about it so often. And sometimes we aren't so nice to the people who are on the left, especially the people who are older and know what they're doing and know that they are taking advantage of people by shouting falsehoods. And we have to be that adamant about that because that is what got through to me. I found conservatives online. I found PragerU. I found videos where people were challenging my belief sets, and they were challenging them very strongly. They were not backing down. I found people like Larry Elder. I found people like Tom Sowell. I found people like Michael Knowles, and I watched them over and over and over and over and over. And that's what we want to be for people out there who are in the same position that Will and I are in. We're in. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Oh, God.
That was hilarious.
I'm you guys can't see it, but I'm sweating from watching that.
Well, I'm
because it's
sweating
so-
too.
It is hot
I
in
was
our
like, if she
studio.
turned to a conservative this fast, maybe she could turn back to the left that fast too. We gotta watch the things we say, Taylor.
Yeah, sleeper agent.
Yeah, exactly, sleeper agent.
Yeah, I never flipped. I'm just here just like collecting data on you guys.
We have all of the data. Bring it back to the lab in Wuhan.
What?
I don't know. Whatever.
We have one last thing to show you guys today, and
You
it's
save it for tomorrow.
You want to save it for tomorrow?
Sure. Unless you want to watch it now.
You can't set it up like that.
All right, fine.
We don't
Watch
have to
it.
spend
Okay.
a long time.
All right,
Let's
watch it.
Okay, this is a new trailer that's coming out for a new Netflix series that you may have heard of. I'm just gonna play this for you. It's kind of wild. It's all based around LGBT.
Speaking of secret agents.
Speaking of secret agents.
Gagents.
Have you gagents? Have you met gay secret agents? If not, you're about to. Here we go.
Hey, Twink. Oh, hey, girl. That's my job, daddy. Right?
We're Q-Force. We're the first queer agents in the field ever.
That's called an entrance, by the way.
We're the best spies in the world.
Don't hit me hard right now.
All right, freeze. The room's empty. I wasted all that masculinity on nothing.
Not nothing. My little butthole went boop.
Damn it. You can't pander to the gays. They can smell it. You're acting like Citibank at Pride.
Such an interesting way to end that trailer when the whole thing is you pandering to the gay community.
Exactly. Like they think they're so self-aware putting that at the end when in reality that's all that they're doing. And it's obviously pandering. It's obviously making a caricature of the gay community for sure.
Right.
That's what they're trying to do with this show. I get it's a cartoon, so it's supposed to be a little bit more outlandish, but still that's what they're doing. And people, when I've said this, they use the argument that, but this half of the writers on this show are gay and the guy who created it is gay, and so they can't be pandering to the gay community. It's fine. It's like, you don't think black people pander to other black people or
Right.
white people pander to other white people? It doesn't matter what race or intersectionality you are to be able to pander to people. You can still pander to people no matter even if you're the same as that person.
And that's clearly what this is. Why would any person want to watch this characterization of their own sexuality? And it's so wild that something as minuscule as who you sleep with or who you fall in love with can be made into an entire TV show, and it becomes an outward representation as who you are as a person, how you dress, how you talk, how you act. And that's exactly what the show is perpetuating.
Have you ever seen Boondocks?
Yes.
You watched the Boondocks?
Yes.
See, that was a show where it was about black people like in the
Right.
hood and everything, but it
Right.
wasn't a pandering to black people or anything. It was
No.
a show that had a lot of like cultural stuff in it that actually pointed out relevant issues.
Very
in
real.
like real stuff, and wasn't afraid to take jabs at its own community. And it would make black people who would watch a show and say, okay, this is something I can really relate to.
Right.
Instead of just a show like this, which is about gay people and is like, oh, I guess I talk about my butthole all day long because I'm gay. That's what we gay people do. Just talk about
Right.
our buttholes all day. It's like, that's what you're pointing it out to be like.
Side note, because you brought up Boondocks, my favorite hate comment that I've ever gotten is that I'm a hot Uncle Ruckus.
That's very funny.
I think that is the funniest thing on earth.
Yeah.
If you don't watch Boondocks, why is that funny?
Because Uncle Ruckus is a black man on Boondocks who is extremely racist, and he thinks he's a white man. And so people call me a hot Uncle Ruckus.
Kind of like
funny.
Chappelle's black white supremacist.
Yeah.
skit.
Oh,
Yeah.
the best skit
If
of
you
all
don't know-
time. That is the best comedy skit of all time. I just showed it to Amala and Taylor
Yeah, it's
a
good.
couple weeks ago. The best.
Yeah.
So funny.
We're giving you guys recommendations of what to watch.
But see, that, I
But
mean, that just goes to
don't show
show
that to your kids.
when you make stuff that's good art culturally, it's like it's going to reflect reality. It's going to reflect people's actual experiences because you're focused on making art that does that,
Right.
not fake and engineering this fake world that's all these caricatures and then shoving them in everyone's faces. And like we'll know when we've made progress when people stop making such a big deal about race and sexuality and gender and all this stuff all the time. Like whatever, do your own thing. If you want to have a show that represents you and stuff, like that's fine. We can support that. But when you have to like force it so hard that you make these caricatures that are nowhere near reality, it's not helpful, and it's a stereo. You're doing the exact opposite of what you're trying to accomplish.
Exactly right. So don't do that. Don't force people into boxes and then create a stereotype around them and then create a whole cartoon show reflecting that very same stereotype, because I can guarantee people are not going to take to it. And this has been getting a lot of hate, both from conservatives and from people on the left. And a lot of
And
people,
gays.
yes,
Yeah.
a lot of people in the LGBTQ community do not want to see a show like this because it is not an accurate representation of them.
Real quick, Jeremy says, Will is gay, ? And then Kristen Nicole says, is he ? So the jury's out. Will, would you like to address these rumors?
That is so funny.
I would love to address these rumors.
I mean, he
and,
had in the outfit you had in that video. It's a
Here's
little.
what we'll do.
It was a good outfit.
It was a
Yeah.
great outfit.
Yeah, it
That's kind of the point.
Sick outfit. Oh, you think only gay people can dress well?
Wow.
Here's what we're
Sounds
gonna.
like stereotyping.
Yeah, kind of stereotypical of you, Jeremy. Jeremy. Anyway, if you want to know if I'm gay, you got to buy my book. If you go to my Instagram,
Will Witt tells all.
Yeah, Will Witt tells all. Go to my Instagram, click the link in my bio. You can go buy my book, pre-order it. You can now pre-order a signed copy of my book. Actually, it's behind Taylor. You can see it. How to Win Friends and Influence Enemies. So you made me do this, Taylor.
I
Now we're
love
doing a
that
real
answer.
plug for my book. Okay.
Pre-order.
Pre-order the book. You can search it online or on Amazon. Just search Will Witt or How to Win Friends and
And
Influence Enemies.
you'll
and
get
find my book.
answers. You'll get answers you didn't even want.
Yeah, exactly. Things you never thought you should know. But I'm very excited for my book to come out. It comes out in September, so I hope you guys all pre-order it. Actually, I hope you guys actually support me and get the book.
That was actually a masterful like spin. Like I threw him a curveball with a comment like that he could have been offended by, and he turns it into a plug for his book.
There
That
you
was
go.
Do I get
well
offended?
done.
We just went through, at the beginning of the show, we went through like 20 comments from people who watch this show and say, I don't like Will Amala's the greatest ever. I hate Will. He sucks. And everyone says Amala's so beautiful. Okay? It doesn't bother me.
No, we actually
doesn't bother me at all.
We enjoy the hate that's actually like funny and creative. We'll give you props, and we should start doing that on the podcast, like a little segment where we give people props for
Let's give Will compliments.
That is a great idea, Travis.
Not just being ugly, but
Tylenol. That's a good idea.
Okay, Susan and Winston.
Tartarus.
Okay, thank you, Timothy.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, if you like this stream, there was no segue into that. There's no smooth segue. If you guys like this stream, please like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when we go live. If you want to be truly notified when we go live, text LIVE to 41776, and you will get a notification sent to your phone every time that we go live on Facebook and YouTube.
And I'm not gay. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Will's not
Appreciate
gay.
it.
There we go.
Gabriella says Taylor should tell Will that every stream people compliment him in the chat.
That's really sweet of you guys. I appreciate that. I wish Taylor would tell us this while we're actually live, but
hey, what had just happened? I just did. You're welcome.
Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate it.
While you guys are berating me with fake names, I'm the bigger person.
Okay,
Tabernacle.
All right, we're done. I'm cutting you guys off. Bye,
All right,
everyone.
Tortoise.
Bye, guys.